More people need to begin to see money as a tool to untether themselves from trading time for money to simply survive, and instead leverage it as a tool to thrive. Imagine making more decisions based on what makes you happy and not suffering through financial crises as a result of those decisions. Right now, most people in America are able to make more decisions based on what makes them happy than they likely should. We know this because a majority of people report that they would be financially compromised if they missed 2 or more paychecks. So how are most people still able to make choices based on what makes them happy if they're only a paycheck or 2 away from hardship? Credit cards. That's how. Credit cards are not inherently bad, but not understanding financial institutions' business models can leave consumers on a treadmill that doesn't have an off button. Now, consider that most major credit cards offer some kind of perks or points to lure customers in, right? Do you think even for a moment that the masterminds behind this business model would ever lose money by offering you more in perks than it would ever cost them to provide them? Absolutely not. So let's take a closer look at the insanity this inherently demonstrates. If you're charged interest for not paying your balance off in full from the previous month's statement, then you're effectively using the points or perks that were awarded to you from your credit card while quite literally paying both the expenses you incurred as well as an interest rate that will take even more out of your pocket than they will reward you in points. What is the point of a credit card with points when you're paying interest? Really? Wouldn't you rather just keep the money rather than borrowing it from a financial institution so they can make money on your debt while they sleep and then turn around and charge you even more interest than they made on your debt because you carried a balance over? This is a perfect example of insanity. So if you're doing this, please stop. And why are they willing to provide these perks? Wait for it. Loyalty. Give me a break. If I called you on the phone and I asked you to borrow money from me every single month at an interest rate of 19% to 29% instead of just paying for your own goods and services, you likely wouldn't agree because you already have the means to pay for it. At this point, you would have every reason in the world to say no and hang up the phone on me. Now, if I did the same, but I offered you just a tiny fraction of what I made on your money in the form of perks or a gift card at a store you like, just to thank you for your loyalty, you might still not agree because of how small the amount I'm offering you is. And if you did agree, you would only spend what you could pay back to get the points, right? To get the points. It's the whole point of it. Otherwise, what would be the point of playing into my scheme at all? You see, this is the problem with credit cards. They're sold to us in an environment that's so conducive to debt and commerce that we don't even consider that the basic proposition is likely something most of us would otherwise turn down, even for a few perks. Look, unless you use your credit card and pay it off in full every month, you are being strung along with the promise of perks that will allow you discounts at a store for products you likely wouldn't have bought in the first place. Now, how do we know you wouldn't have bought them in the first place? Easy, because if you didn't have enough money to pay off the balance in full each month to begin with, that means you wouldn't have had the money to buy those same products without a credit card, let alone paying a high revolving interest rate on top of those borrowed funds. This is the importance of differentiating between needs and wants. What I'm saying is that unless you have the upper hand on a credit card company, i.e. money to pay your balance in full each month, you are just signing up to be enslaved to a predator of your own choosing. Please, somebody make it make sense. This is insane. Look, living below your means is the key to financial freedom, while debt is the key to enslavement and losing your peace of mind for temporary gain. And you know what? If credit cards were opioids being abused by someone that you love, and you heard them justify the further abuse of this poison because they just need an excuse to feel good again, you would do everything in your power to help them break that cycle, would you not? Your freedom, both emotionally and financially, is one of the most important factors in determining the quality of your life. A self-inflicted wound like credit card debt is a devastating tragedy. I'm telling you, there are already enough potentially dangerous factors that can limit your quality of life. You do not need to add personal debt to the list. There is no legitimate reason to invent your own misfortune. Your freedom is worth way more than anything you could ever choose to unnecessarily go into debt for. And this is where you can finally choose to redefine your relationship with money. Saying no can become very addictive when you realize just how amazing financial freedom actually is. If your friends are going out to drink more often than you would, that doesn't mean they can really afford it. If they're all choosing to finance vehicles that they have the means to make monthly payments on, but only as long as they have a paycheck coming in, that doesn't mean they can afford it. It just means that they're betting on eventually paying off their decisions to gamble with time and money. Deciding whether something is affordable or not isn't just about how much money is in the bank. It's about how financially secure you are. There is a huge difference between these two things. There is no legitimate reason to believe that living above your means or spending just about everything you have available is the only way to live. Plus, you're not even capable of helping your family and friends if they run into a tough spot without directly compromising your own financial security. You need to plan to succeed. So, first things first, spend less than you earn. Last week's video was all about living below your means. You'll want to go back and watch that one if you haven't already. And if you haven't watched my video on 10 ways to save $10,000 from a few weeks back, you got even more homework to do. So you'll want to go back and watch that one too. Number 2, set aside money for an emergency fund so that you're not scrambling or going into debt by putting necessities on a credit card when an unforeseen event catches you off guard. Setting up an emergency fund that outpaces the average rate of inflation but is still readily available and liquid without penalties or fees if you should need to tap into it is going to be a lifesaver for yourself and your family. You don't want to save this money in a low-interest savings account or a CD at your bank. Instead, you'll want to take advantage of a high-yield interest savings account that is separate from your bank so you won't be tempted to spend it. To open your high-yield savings account, just go to the link in my profile and then scroll down to Wealthfront High Yield Savings Account. You can always transfer funds with no fees or penalties if you need to access them, but this will allow you to outpace the average rate of inflation so that you can guard and grow your purchasing power for when you need it most. Now, if you found that this video speaks directly to your life choices and you're struggling with spiraling debt, I'm going to show you how to get your life back. Just go to the link in my profile, scroll down to Debt Management, and sign up for a free evaluation so that our consultants can determine whether or not we can eliminate your interest payments and help you pay your debts much faster. There's no upfront cost and our payment plans are interest-free. If you want to change your life, it starts with breaking the cycle. All right, thanks so much for watching till the end. If you gained any value from this video, please give it a like and share this video with your loved ones and follow me for more tips. I've been Kevin with MoneyTreeAndMe, providing better security and ensuring better lives. Make it a great day.